Good afternoon. Welcome to our Thursday Live. Wherever you are watching, whether it is within the borders of South Africa, Australia, Switzerland, Maestro is saying good afternoon. We hope, Tjhoko, just show everyone that Maestro has been so hard at work to prepare everything for today's live. Yeah. And that he is super excited to be with us. I am going to ask Maestro, after Tjhoko has put the camera back in its place, to leave the building, Tjhoko. It's lovely to be here. Welcome in my home. Today's ideas are there to inspire gifts for Father's Day, to get everyone in the home busy and doing something practical that Dad can actually use. Now, after a week away from home, we've been filming season 6 of Doodgewone Joe, a TV series that you can watch on DSTV. The first season is also available on Showmax if you are not within the borders of South Africa. I realized that men need hooks to hang things up. Whether it's their socks, their jackets, their bra utensils, they need space to hang things. No, it doesn't help to have cupboards with shelves. Nothing gets put in there. So I thought if we can give Dad hooks to hang their things, maybe we could organize our lives better and then also get rid of all the conflict in our homes. So this is me sharing ideas on Father's Day gifts, and you can also get the children to help and assist you with those painting ideas that I'll be sharing with you. Now, Tjhoko has recently launched a beautiful range of new colors. I'm not going to include all of them today. I'm only going to feature a few that are also beautiful to use as Father's Day gifts. And share some info on that people. Simply Sipiwe is the driver of our beautiful Tjhoko truck. So whenever you see the truck moving around, you can wave to Sipiwe. And then Magical Marina is our Tjhoko Paint rep for the Western and Southern Cape provinces within South Africa. She is truly magical. And then today I'm also going to be working with Hello Hetty. Now, if I think of Hetty, there's a lot of emotions that come to play. Hetty is an avid Tjhoko Paint user and also someone that shared a very sad story with us and has become a mother to so many Tjhoko fans. I'm just going to put my phone on silent, Tjhoko. Let's do that. Sorry. So Hetty has a very sincere, true and sad story to share. Can everyone hear? Can we maybe just find out if the audio is working well? And Tjhoko, maybe just put the tripod back on the feet so everything is stable. Do we get feedback on the sound? Let's do that before I continue. Is the sound working well? Will someone reply if you can hear me before I continue? Okay, sorry. So Hetty has a sad story to share, but she is a person with such a sincere heart, her and her entire family. And then my grandmother was also Hetty. So they are sharing their Tjhoko color. The other color I'll be working with is Lady Lisa. She's our Tjhoko fan in the Vereniging store. So Lady Lisa is the representative in the Vereniging Tjhoko Paint concept store. Give her a tight hug whenever you are in Vereniging. And then Super Sunette from Nelspruit. Oh my hat. I smile if I say out your name because you are so super with the creativity that you share with us on the creations page. Okay, first step, we have 15 by 15 centimeter square planks, Tjhoko plankies that we are going to work with. I'm going to use an artist brush, and this is a Pro Art size 9 brush that I'll be working with, and I'm going to paint my first block in the color Magical Marina. It's a magical, beautiful color. Marina is taking on a trip to the Southern Cape tomorrow to present a Tjhoko workshop in Mossel Bay. So ladies, enjoy the time with Marina this coming weekend. So this is step 1. We are busy with a creative process on creating a gift idea for Dad. And seeing that I'm working on a smaller surface, I'm using a smaller paint brush. Very important tip, when painting with your paint brushes, always make sure that you work with good quality brushes. And how do you determine whether the paintbrush is good quality or not? Is by the touch of the bristles. Now, if you touch the bristles, you will immediately feel whether they are soft, loose from each other, and the quality of your bristles will determine the quality of your paintwork. So Maestro has found his way around the house. Sanita, maybe Maestro has a story to tell us. Yana, he's mischievous. Okay. Then my second block, I will be painting with Simply Sipiwe. Now, color trends at the moment are your dusty colors, natural tones, and that's also the inspiration on the new Tjhoko colors. Colors and trends change. Terracottas are very in fashion and trendy at the moment, and Sipiwe is a beautiful warm tone. Dusty, natural, but warm. And so are the other colors. Trish, you have such a beautiful color, but that's something that I will share at a different time. It's a beautiful periwinkle, soft purple.
Wat is 'n sterk kleur vir 'n boeremeisie?
So, say again, what's a strong color for a
boeremeisie?
Boeremeisie, is that a question?
Ja.
Listen here, I'm a boeremeisie. And all the Tjhoko colors just tickles my soul. So it depends on the mood that you're in. The new range is amazing. I'm actually planning a series with the Taste and Home magazine for our Tjhoko Champs competition that's coming up soon. And you will see even after today that these will inspire you, these colors. Okay, so I have painted my 2 blocks, Magical Marina, Simply Sipiwe. I'm going to allow for them to dry, but what I have over here are blocks that have already been painted. And step 2 is I've allowed for them to dry, and now I'm going to use 100 grit sandpaper. And you could put the phone down so that there's less movement, that it's more stable. I'm going to use a 100 grit piece of sandpaper, and I'm going to sand them. Okay, so sorry for the noise, but this is the next step I want to apply. Number 1 is complete, and now number 2. So the moment you sand a surface, you can see the subtle change in color and how the surface just comes to life. Even look this one, I hope you can see it on your screen. Okay, next step will be to stencil, and I'm using Stencil 2021 30 by 30 number 3. So if you look on the Stencil catalog online or from your nearest stockist, that is the code. It's a 30 by 30 centimeter stencil, and it's code number 3 of last year's range. I'm going to put this on my surface, and I'm going to stencil now on top of this with any of these colors. Now tip when stenciling, and sorry for those that know already, but we always have new visitors on the page. A stencil brush works best. So a stencil brush has got short, stiff bristles, and they are flat. The reason for the flat bristles are to prevent the paint from moving underneath your stencil and leaking underneath your stencil. So I've dipped my stencil brush in my paint. I have a clean, dry cloth. It can also be a piece of newspaper. And I remove any excess paint from my paintbrush, stencil brush. The drier your brush, the greater the success. My stencil is too big for my surface to actually secure it with masking tape. So I'm going to use my free hand, press the stencil down, move in circular motion. My brush is dry to prevent the paint from leaking underneath my stencil. And I'm stenciling. If you want to create a gradient, light to dark, I have started with Hello Hetty. I'm now going to work with Lady Lisa. Same tip applies. I dip my stencil brush in my paint, remove excess, and now I move in circular motion with Lady Lisa from Vereniging. And I just want to make it darker. This is a creative process. You can't make mistakes. You can play until you are satisfied, and Dad will be so happy to have space to hang things. You will see the hanging part of this session in a bit. So my stencil work is now complete, and I lift my stencil. I will allow for this to dry a bit before I sand again. So let's just put that aside, and I'm going to apply the same technique. Just clean the back of my stencil on my blue block. And now I'm going to work with Savvy Steffi. I haven't introduced her. If you would ever have the opportunity to phone our offices and speak to Steffi, you will just love her. From the first moment, she's a person that can think on her feet, has the most amazing problem-solving skills, can multitask like no person I've ever seen, and she has the most beautiful Tjhoko color. So I dip my paintbrush in Steffi. Once again, make sure rather too little paint than too much, and I move in circular motion. I have cleaned my stencil brush before I've dipped it in Savvy Steffi with a dry cloth, and now I'm going to just add some Simplicity, just for that two-tone effect. And the most important part of everything is to enjoy it. Mijilke, I'm going to speak English so that the rest of the world can understand this message. This is something you need to do for your dad as well. Mijilke is the daughter of my brother, and Karen will have appreciation for this Father's Day gift idea, because we all know men, and where they like to put things, not on shelf, on the floor. We're going to solve that problem. I am removing my stencil, and just see how beautiful the tones of these colors work together. And you can play with all these colors that I have mentioned. I will also allow for this to dry, sand a bit. This one is nearly dry. And then sand so that the stencil work just blends in with your background. And now we have a very quirky new stencil range in the A6 sizes. I'm just going to mention a few of them. This one says Wi-Fi, has the weakest signal in my room. This one says etc. means end of thinking capacity. Coffee is a noun and it means liquid that smells like fresh ground heaven. And happiness, not having to set the alarm for the next day. There's also one that says Thursday. I'm just looking for that one because today is Thursday. It's the day you could have sworn was Friday. So we have selected a few quirky of these sayings for Dad. I'm now going to, before I stencil that, lightly sand my stencil work with 100 grit piece of sandpaper. Important is to allow for this to dry. Your stencil work needs to be dry before you do this. So there's a beautiful base for me to do my stencil work on. I'm going to do this happiness for my dad. Oh, there's one that reminds me of my grandmother that I do want to share with you before I stencil that one, and it's all about diet. Where is that one, Jaco? Let's look here. 2020, the whole world took a gap year. Art, the word has no definition in modern days. Problems, 89% of them are completely made up scenarios in my head that I'm stressed about for no logical reason at all. And then the diet one is not here. Okay, but with anger. Okay, Jaco, let's continue. I will have to look for the diet one. My grandmother was forever on a diet. She would buy clothes that
tomorrow, the day your diet starts.
Yeah, diet tomorrow.
The day
Yeah.
your diet starts.
So the stencil says tomorrow, the day your diet starts. That was for Oma Hetty. She was always on her diet. She would buy clothes that didn't even fit her. Just because she believed she would go on a diet and then they will eventually fit her. Okay, so I'm putting happiness on my plunky. I'm using my stencil brush. I clean it. I dip it in my matte black. Just the tip of the brush. And this is easy and the entire family can assist to make gifts. And I move in circular motion to create my happiness block. I remove my stencil. A tip: when we put down masking tape on a newly painted surface, what I usually do is I just remove most of the stickiness on a piece of clothing before I put it down on new paint to prevent the masking tape from removing new paint from your surface. So that's a tip for next time before you apply masking tape on a newly painted surface. Okay, there's my happiness. What you can see is I have applied too much paint there. How am I going to fix that? I'll wait for my entire block to dry a bit and then I'll lightly sand and then that area will fade away. Okay, next I'm going to show you my dad loves reading, and I have these old newspaper sheets that I keep for, you know how we are, we that love crafting, you always see potential in everything. So I found this old piece of newspaper. I've cut it according to size of the 15 by 15 centimeter block. We at Tjhoko do sell these blocks. You can check online and you can also inquire from your nearest stockist. I'm going to use the same artist brush that I've been using the entire afternoon, just a clean one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint on my piece of block some undiluted clear glaze. And this is actually a technique that Renal from Hilton showed us and shared with us a few years back. Decoupage. So I apply my glaze on this block. I also paint some glaze on the back of my paper. And if you are applying this technique to a larger surface, please make sure you go look on our YouTube channel. There's a video where we show how we actually use gift paper on a larger surface, but then we dip it through the paint or through the glaze to ensure that it adheres to the surface before the glaze dries. Okay, I'm putting it down on my block. I wipe away any air that might be trapped underneath my paper or between my paper and my block. I take my undiluted clear glaze and I paint it on top. If I think of a newspaper, I think of my dad and how badly he wanted to live close to the ocean when we were growing up, and how he looked Sunday after Sunday in the newspaper for job opportunities closer to the ocean. Today they have the privilege of living close to the sea. Sometimes things don't happen when we want them to happen. Okay, so I am painting my glaze onto my newspaper evenly, gently, no force.
Is Tjhoko available in the UK?
Is Tjhoko available in the UK? Not yet. I so wish it was. Find us someone and share it. Nadine@tjokopaint.co.za is my email address, so that we can make contact and make it happen. Tjhoko is available in Switzerland, in Australia, in New Zealand, in Mauritius, Botswana, Namibia. Okay. And then I will wait for this to dry. I have over here on our wall, and Jaco is slowly going to move with me. This is something that I will put closer to Jaco's braai room for Father's Day. But if you walk with me, here's a wall where I have applied the various colors with stencil work and hooks. So that Dad has a lovely wall that's decoupaged for him with hooks, quirky sayings. The entire family, all the children can assist in doing this. They can even write messages for Dad at the back, something with dates that he can always remember back on a specific Father's Day, a year that we celebrated Father's Day. And no more socks, pants, shirts, braai utensils lying around. This is me. This is Mama Nadine, Mama Tjhoko Nadine, after our Thursday live, the first Thursday in June 2022. And my message to you is to share stories. And Hetty, I'm thinking of you and the message that you've shared with me this morning. Share your stories, share your heart, share memorable experiences with each other. Make Father's Day special. We are so fortunate if we can still have a father to share it with, and start preparing something special for Dad. Have a lovely weekend ahead and a lovely week. Until I see you next Thursday, loads of love from a chilly South Africa this time. Bye.